Limor Whitehead, a flashy Brooklyn pastor nicknamed the Bling Bishop, was sentenced Monday to 9 years in prison after being convicted of using a parishioner's retirement savings and trying to extort a businessman, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York announced. Whitehead was found guilty in March of 2 counts of wire fraud, as well as 1 count each of attempted wire fraud, attempted extortion, and making false statements to federal law enforcement agents. The convictions are from 3 separate schemes. In addition to his prison sentence, the 45-year-old Brooklyn man was sentenced to 3 years of supervised release and ordered to pay $85,000 in restitution and forfeit $95,000, according to a news release from the U.S. Attorney's Office and court documents. Limor Whitehead is a con man who stole millions of dollars in a string of financial frauds and even stole from one of his own parishioners. He lied to federal agents and again to the court at his trial. Today's sentence puts an end to Whitehead's various schemes and reflects this office's commitment to bring accountability to those who abuse their positions of trust, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York Damian Williams said in the news release. One of Whitehead's attorneys has previously said they plan to appeal. Known for his Louis Vuitton suits and extravagant jewelry, Whitehead was a pastor at the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries in Brooklyn. He made headlines in 2022 after he said he and his wife were robbed of $1 million worth of jewelry at their church. Prosecutors said Whitehead defrauded one of his parishioners by convincing her to invest approximately $90,000 of her retirement savings with him so he could help her buy a home. However, he ended up spending the money on luxury goods and personal expenses instead, according to an indictment. Whitehead also extorted a businessman for $5,000 and then attempted to convince the man to loan him $500,000 and grant him a stake in real estate transactions in exchange for obtaining favorable actions by the New York City government that he knew he could not provide, the indictment said. Whitehead used his ties to New York City Mayor Eric Adams to try to make the deal, the U.S. Attorney's Office said in a March news release. He also submitted a fraudulent application for a $250,000 business loan that included doctored bank statements, which falsely claimed he had millions of dollars in the bank and hundreds of thousands of dollars in monthly revenue, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office news release. Whitehead had submitted similar fraudulent applications to various other financial institutions, stealing millions of dollars in the process, the release said. And when speaking to FBI agents who were executing a search warrant outside his New Jersey mansion, Whitehead made false statements by telling the agents he only had 1 phone when he actually had 2, according to the indictment. Whitehead was sent to federal lockup 2 months before his sentencing date, after a judge ruled one of his crimes, attempted extortion, required he be jailed before his sentencing, according to a law enforcement source. Judge Lorna G. Schofield put the flashy fraudster behind bars after Manhattan federal prosecutors argued he should be locked up ahead of his July sentencing for the crime of violence. The decision to remand Whitehead was the latest twist in his sordid saga, which seems to be hurtling to a close after a Manhattan jury found the stylish preacher guilty in March of scamming a parishioner's elderly mom and trying to extort money from a Bronx body shop owner to whom Whitehead promised official favors from Mayor Eric Adams. Prosecutors have also said Whitehead, who was still free after being convicted of fraud, attempted extortion, and lying to the FBI, had flashed confidential case documents in an April 30 live-streamed service and used a Bible verse to try to intimidate Pauline Anderson, the elderly woman whom he scammed out of $90,000. "Touch not my anointed," the flamboyant, 45-year-old pastor allegedly said, quoting Psalms 105 to imply that he's beyond criticism because he's a pastor. The feds say his little sermon violated a restraining order, according to federal court filings. Whitehead tried to argue the claims in court, wearing a $3,300 outfit to the hearing May 13, by telling the judge that he did not willfully try to disturb any protective order. Whitehead is now 2 months into his 9-year sentence and has to complete 3 years of supervised release, or in other words, parole. If you like this video, please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel.